In the world of coin collecting, some half-dollars may look ordinary, but a few rare pieces have shocked collectors with unbelievable values. From hidden mint errors to incredibly rare high-grade survivors, these coins have turned simple pocket change into treasures worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Today, we're revealing the top 4 Kennedy half-dollars that collectors across America are searching for right now. These coins carry the iconic portrait of John F. Kennedy, a design that has become one of the most recognizable in American coin history. Some of these half-dollars were struck at famous U.S. mint facilities, like the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, while others feature unusual mint marks, rare varieties, or exceptional mint state conditions that make them incredibly desirable. In this video, we'll explore 4 fascinating coins, including the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar, the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar, and the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar. Each one has its own story, unique characteristics, and surprising collector demand. So before you spend that 50-cent coin or ignore an old half-dollar sitting in a drawer, watch carefully, because one of these coins could be worth far more than you ever imagined. So let's get started. First up, the story of the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar begins in a time when America was still feeling the powerful legacy of John F. Kennedy, whose image had appeared on the half-dollar coin since 1964. By 1972, the United States Mint continued producing millions of these coins at the Denver Mint, identified by the small but important D. Mint mark located on the reverse side of the coin near the eagle. At first glance, the 1972 D. half-dollar may appear to be just another common coin, a piece of pocket change that passed through countless hands in grocery stores, gas stations, and banks across the country. But hidden within this seemingly ordinary coin is a fascinating story of history, rarity, minting quirks, and collector excitement that continues to grow even decades later. The design itself carries deep symbolism. On the obverse side, the bold portrait of President Kennedy faces left, representing strength, leadership, and a nation remembering one of its most beloved leaders. Surrounding his portrait are the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and the date 1972, all struck with precision by the powerful presses of the Denver Mint. On the reverse, the majestic heraldic eagle spreads its wings beneath a constellation of stars, a design originally created by Frank Gasparo, symbolizing national unity and pride. While millions of these coins were minted, collectors began noticing that not every 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar looked exactly the same. Some examples displayed unusually sharp details, while others showed weak strikes, die polishing lines, or small minting anomalies that could dramatically change the coin's value. Over time, certain high-grade examples graded by professional services, like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, began selling for surprisingly high prices at auction. While a typical circulated coin might only be worth face value, pristine mint state specimens with strong luster and flawless surfaces can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars from dedicated collectors seeking the best possible example for their collections. Part of what makes the 1972 D. Kennedy half-dollar so interesting is the era in which it was produced. By the early 1970s, half-dollars were already disappearing from everyday circulation. Americans increasingly preferred smaller coins like quarters and dimes, leaving half-dollars to accumulate in bank vaults and collector rolls. Because of this, many 1972 D coins were stored rather than spent, creating a unique situation where a large quantity survived, but only a tiny percentage survived in truly perfect condition. For coin enthusiasts, the thrill lies in the hunt. A simple roll search, an inherited coin jar, or an old bank wrapper could reveal a gem-quality example waiting to be discovered. Experts carefully inspect these coins under magnification, looking for signs of strong strike, blazing mint luster, and the absence of contact marks that might lower the grade. Even small details, such as the sharpness of the eagle's feathers or the crispness of Kennedy's hair, can make a dramatic difference in value. Auction records show that top-graded examples have stunned collectors with impressive prices, proving that even a coin many people overlook can become a prized treasure when preserved in exceptional condition. The 1972 D. Kennedy half dollar also represents an important chapter in the broader story of American coinage. It reflects the transition from earlier silver coins to the copper-nickel clad compositions that dominate modern U.S. currency. Earlier Kennedy half dollars from 1964 contained 90% silver, and those from 1965 to 1970 still held 40% silver. By 1971, however, the mint had fully switched to a copper-nickel clad composition for circulation coins, making the 1972 D part of the new generation of non-silver half dollars. For collectors and historians alike, this shift marks a major economic and cultural turning point in American money. Today, more than 50 years after it was struck, the 1972 D. Kennedy half dollar continues to capture attention among numismatists and treasure hunters. It reminds us that history often hides in the most ordinary places, in drawers, piggy banks, and forgotten coin collections. Somewhere out there, a perfectly preserved example may still be waiting to be discovered, its brilliant surfaces untouched by time. And that possibility keeps collectors searching, examining every half dollar they find, hoping that the next coin they hold might be the rare gem that transforms a simple 50-cent piece into a remarkable piece of American history. Next up, the fascinating story of the 1985 P. Kennedy half dollar begins during a period when the half dollar was slowly fading from everyday American circulation, yet quietly becoming a hidden treasure for collectors who understood its history and potential value. By 1985, the iconic coin still carried the powerful image of John F. Kennedy, whose portrait had been placed on the half dollar shortly after his assassination in 1963. Turning the coin into a lasting tribute that millions of Americans recognized instantly. Struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint and marked with the P Mint mark, the 1985 issue represented another chapter in the continuing legacy of the Kennedy half dollar series. At first glance, many people assume this coin is ordinary because millions were produced, but the deeper story reveals why collectors pay close attention to even modern half dollars like this one. The obverse design shows Kennedy's detailed profile facing left, surrounded by the bold word Liberty, the national motto, "In God We Trust," and the year 1985 placed below the portrait. The reverse side displays a dramatic heraldic eagle with its wings stretched wide, clutching arrows and an olive branch, while a shield covers its chest, an artistic design created by Frank Gasparo that symbolizes strength, unity, and peace. Above the eagle's head is a circle of stars representing the states of a nation, and beneath the eagle appears the small but significant P Mint mark identifying its origin at the Philadelphia Mint. During the mid-1980s, the United States Mint produced Kennedy half dollars primarily for collectors and bank storage rather than for heavy circulation. Because Americans rarely used 50-cent pieces in daily transactions, many of these coins remained sealed in mint rolls or government storage bags for years. This unusual situation created a fascinating paradox in the coin collecting world. While the coin itself is technically common, truly perfect examples with flawless surfaces, blazing luster, and strong strikes are surprisingly difficult to find. Coin grading organizations, such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, have evaluated thousands of these coins, and only a small percentage achieve the highest mint state grades that serious collectors demand. When a pristine specimen graded MS 67 or higher appears at auction, collectors often compete aggressively, pushing prices far above what most people expect for a modern half dollar. This is why experienced coin hunters never ignore Kennedy halves from the 1980s. Small details can dramatically affect value. The sharpness of Kennedy's hair strands, the clarity of the eagle's feathers, the brightness of the mint luster, and the absence of contact marks from other coins. Some examples also reveal interesting die varieties, subtle doubling in the lettering, or unusual strike characteristics that make them even more desirable. For collectors, discovering one of these high-quality pieces can feel like uncovering a hidden gem. The excitement comes from knowing that many 1985 P coins still sit unnoticed in bank rolls, inherited coin jars, or forgotten mint sets waiting to be examined closely. Beyond its potential value, the 1985 P Kennedy half dollar also represents an important era in American coinage. Earlier versions of the Kennedy half-dollar contained significant amounts of silver, 90% in 1964 and 40% from 1965 through 1970. But by the time this coin was produced, the mint had fully transitioned to the copper-nickel clad composition used for modern circulating coins. This change reflected broader economic shifts and the rising cost of precious metals during the late 20th century. Even so, the coin's design and symbolism remained powerful, preserving the memory of a president who inspired a generation and left a lasting impact on American history. Today, decades after its release, the 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar continues to attract attention among numismatists, history enthusiasts, and treasure hunters who enjoy searching through rolls of coins, hoping to find a perfectly preserved example. What appears to be a simple 50-cent piece may actually hold a surprising story of craftsmanship, history, and collector demand. Somewhere in a drawer, a piggy bank, or a forgotten coin album, a brilliant uncirculated 1985 P. Kennedy half-dollar might still be waiting to be discovered, its reflective surfaces shining exactly as they did when it left the Philadelphia mint presses many years ago. And that possibility, the chance that an overlooked coin could suddenly reveal hidden value, keeps collectors searching, examining every Kennedy half-dollar carefully, and reminding us that even modern coins can become extraordinary treasures when history, rarity, and condition come together in a single shining piece of American currency. Next up, the remarkable story of the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar begins during a time when the half-dollar was slowly fading from everyday circulation, but was quietly becoming a fascinating treasure for collectors and historians. This coin carries the iconic portrait of John F. Kennedy, whose image first appeared on the half-dollar in 1964 as a tribute after his tragic assassination. Nearly a decade later, in 1973, the United States Mint continued to honor Kennedy's legacy by striking millions of half-dollars at the Denver Mint, marked with the small but important D mint mark. To many Americans in the 1970s, the coin seemed ordinary. It could be found in bank rolls, coin jars, and occasionally in circulation. Yet most people never stopped to examine the details or consider that some of these coins might one day attract the attention of collectors around the world. The design itself is both powerful and symbolic. On the obverse side, Kennedy's profile faces left, surrounded by the bold inscription Liberty, the national motto, "In God We Trust," and the year 1973. The reverse side features the dramatic heraldic eagle, designed by Frank Gasparo, spreading its wings beneath a ring of stars representing the states of the nation. The eagle clutches arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing the strength and peace of the United States. Beneath the eagle appears the D mint mark that tells collectors this particular coin was struck in Denver, one of the primary coin-producing facilities of the country. Although the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar was produced in large numbers, the coin carries an intriguing story because by the early 1970s Americans had already begun using half-dollars less frequently in daily transactions. Vending machines, cash registers, and everyday commerce favored quarters and smaller denominations, causing half-dollars to slowly disappear from circulation. As a result, many of these coins were stored in bank vaults or saved by collectors rather than spent, creating an interesting situation where large quantities survived, but only a small percentage remained in pristine condition. For serious numismatists, the thrill lies in finding the finest possible example. Coins with strong strikes, brilliant mint luster, and surfaces free from scratches or contact marks can command impressive prices when graded by respected organizations such as Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Company. While a worn 1973 D half-dollar might be worth only its face value, a superb mint state specimen graded among the highest levels can attract significant attention at coin auctions, sometimes selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and rarity within the grading population. Collectors also search carefully for unusual mint errors or die varieties associated with this issue. Small doubling in the lettering, die cracks, off-center strikes, or other production anomalies can transform an ordinary coin into a valuable collector's item. These possibilities add excitement to the hobby of coin roll hunting, where enthusiasts purchase rolls of half-dollars from banks and examine each coin under magnification, hoping to uncover a rare gem hidden among common pieces. The 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar also represents an important stage in the evolution of modern American coinage. Earlier Kennedy halves contained significant amounts of silver, 90% in 1964 and 40% between 1965 and 1970. But by the time the 1973 coins were minted, the series had fully transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change reflected rising silver prices and broader economic shifts in the United States during the late 20th century. Even without silver content, however, the coin remained historically significant because of the powerful symbolism connected to President Kennedy and the era he represented. Today, more than 50 years after it was struck, the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar continues to captivate collectors, historians, and treasure hunters who appreciate the stories hidden within everyday coins. Many of these pieces still rest quietly in coin albums, old bank wrappers, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers waiting to be rediscovered. Each coin carries a connection to the past, a reminder of the American economy, craftsmanship of the U.S. Mint, and the enduring legacy of President Kennedy. Somewhere, perhaps in an overlooked roll of coins or a family coin jar, a perfectly preserved 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar may still be waiting to shine once again. And that possibility keeps collectors searching with excitement, because sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin can reveal an extraordinary piece of history. Next up, the fascinating story of the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar begins in an era when the half-dollar had already become one of the most overlooked coins in everyday American life. Yet it quietly carried a powerful legacy connected to one of the most memorable leaders in modern history, John F. Kennedy. When the United States Mint struck the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar at the historic Philadelphia Mint, the coin was produced without a visible mint mark, which is why collectors often refer to it simply as the 1978 no mint mark half-dollar. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary 50-cent piece, but behind its simple appearance lies a remarkable story of history, design, and the continuing fascination of collectors who search through rolls of coins hoping to discover hidden treasures. The design itself remains one of the most recognizable in American coinage. On the obverse side, the detailed portrait of President Kennedy faces left, surrounded by the bold inscription Liberty, the national motto, In God We Trust, and the date 1978 placed below the profile. This powerful portrait was originally created by the talented U.S. Mint engraver Gilroy Roberts, whose work captured Kennedy's determined expression and transformed the coin into a lasting memorial to the late president. The reverse design, crafted by Frank Gasparo, features the majestic heraldic eagle with its wings fully spread, clutching arrows and an olive branch, while a shield covers its chest, symbolizing both strength and peace for the nation. Above the eagle shines a ring of stars representing the states of the United States, a powerful emblem that connects this small piece of metal to the broader identity of the country. By 1978, the Kennedy half-dollar was no longer widely used in daily transactions. Most Americans preferred smaller coins like quarters, and many stores rarely handled half-dollars at all. Because of this shift in everyday commerce, large numbers of 1978 half-dollars were stored in bank vaults, mint bags, and collector rolls rather than being spent in circulation. This unusual situation created an interesting opportunity for modern coin collectors. While millions of coins were produced, relatively few survived in truly perfect condition. When coins were stacked in bags or rolls, they often rubbed against one another, creating small marks or scratches known as contact marks. These marks might seem tiny, but they can greatly affect a coin's grade and value in the collector market. Today, professional grading organizations, such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company, carefully evaluate coins, like the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar under magnification, assigning grades based on the quality of the strike, the brilliance of the mint luster, and the overall preservation of the surfaces. A typical circulated example may still be worth only its face value of 50 cents, but a perfectly preserved specimen graded at the highest mint state levels can attract surprising attention from collectors. Some high-grade examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions, proving that even modern coins can become valuable when they are exceptionally well preserved. Collectors also search closely for unusual mint errors or die varieties within the 1978 no mint mark issue. Sometimes small doubling appears in the lettering, or a die crack develops during the minting process, creating a unique feature that makes a coin stand out from millions of others. In rare cases, off-center strikes or other dramatic mint errors occur, turning an ordinary coin into a highly desirable collectible. These possibilities create excitement among coin roll hunters who visit banks and obtain rolls of half-dollars specifically to examine each coin one by one. The 1978 Kennedy half-dollar also represents an important chapter in the evolution of American coinage. Earlier Kennedy half-dollars from 1964 contained 90% silver, and those minted between 1965 and 1970 still held 40% silver. By the time the 1978 coins were produced, the series had fully transitioned to a copper-nickel clad composition, reflecting the rising cost of precious metals and the changing economics of coin production in the United States. Despite this change, the coin still carries immense historical meaning because of its connection to President Kennedy and the period of American history he symbolized. More than 4 decades after it left the presses of the Philadelphia Mint, the 1978 Kennedy half-dollar continues to inspire curiosity among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters who understand that valuable discoveries can sometimes hide in the most unexpected places. Somewhere in a forgotten coin jar, an old mint set, or a dusty bank roll, a brilliant uncirculated 1978 Kennedy half-dollar might still be waiting to be discovered, its surfaces shining just as brightly as the day it was minted. That possibility keeps the excitement of coin collecting alive, reminding us that even a simple 50-cent piece can hold a powerful story of American history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovering a hidden treasure.